Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the AEW Recap, brought to you by the SmackDown podcast. I'm your host, Katie Bay. As you can see, I'm going solo. Last night we had a lot of technical difficulties on my end, so I decided I'll just do the solo show. And this time I'm actually prepared for a solo show, unlike Monday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Monday's recap will never leave the stream. That's all I'll say. And I say stream because typically I would be going live on the Standing Streamers Twitch channel. Make sure you head to twitch.tv/the Standing Streamer, like and subscribe so you get notified every time we go live, but also every time he goes live with his show, Putting You Over. And if you miss a live stream, we have the video form of the podcast up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SmackDrawPodcast. And if you're one of those people who like to listen to your podcasts, we have the audio form up on a plethora of podcast platforms. Anything you can think of, we're on it, I promise. We also, if you guys didn't know already, we are the exclusive recap for Wrestling News World. Go to their website, bookmark the page, make it your go-to for wrestling news and information. Check out the articles, the podcast, and their premium content. And please, you know you gotta help us out. Do the usual like, comment, share, subscribe, but also head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. Subscribe to one of our awesome tiers. If you subscribe to one of our awesome tiers, you can get early access to our pre-recorded YouTube videos, these cool stickers that you see here, which mine are apparently going to be in the mail very, very soon. We will see. You can also submit a video hot take or video unpopular wrestling opinion, and it will be featured on the UWO show, which is making a comeback very, very soon. I promise. And if you subscribe to our $25 tier, not only do you get all of those things I just mentioned, but you get one of those cool SmackDown podcast shirts that you just saw if you're watching the video. They come in a variety of color shirts and color logos, so you can do a little mix and match. For me, the shirt I ordered was a plain black one with the dark blue logo. Now I can't actually remember. But that's okay. My shirt will be here by the end of the month, and then I'll be rocking it almost all the time, so don't fret, guys. I promise I'll have one, just like the stickers. And along with the shirt, with the $25 tier, you can get a little bit of advertising. Obviously, I have no chat, but D-Rod in the chat, who's usually always there giving Kyle a hard time, and I think he fears me. He has a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DRod2222. Check him out playing some WWE 2K20. I will say viewer discretion is advised. He sometimes plays naked. You have been warned. So how I'm going to do this is I'm basically just going to run down the show, not in as much detail, kind of give my opinion on some stuff, and ask some questions for the comment section of the YouTube video. Sounds good. You have no say in the matter. You're already watching the video or listening to the audio. So the first match that was supposed to start Dynamite was Jurassic Express, so Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, taking on FTR. Jurassic Express, was in the ring, and the Young Bucks come out, unprovoked, very odd. They come out, super kick the ref, walk away. That's it. That's all they did. And then the camera follows them backstage where they decide to just take a stack of bills, because another $5,000 a piece fine is coming, and they basically toss the stack of bills at Tony Khan, who is backstage producing the show. If this isn't heel Young Bucks, I do not know what is. I personally love it. I can't wait to see them fully turn heel. I think it's going to happen once Kenny officially turns, because he's kind of on the fence right now. Once Kenny officially turns, I think the Bucks will 100% officially turn, and then we get OG Elite, heel Elite. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below, because do you want to see heel Elite? Do you want to see cleaner Kenny? These are important questions, because a lot of people want to see New Japan cleaner Kenny in AEW. I am one of those people. So we will see. But once the Bucks deal with all of the money stuff, FTR finally comes out, and we get our first match of the night. Fantastic tag team match. One of the best, I say this all the time, I feel like it was one of the best tag matches in a while. And AEW's tag division can't be touched. I said it last night when we tried to do this with Kevin. I said that AEW's tag division can't be touched, much like NXT's women's division can't be touched. Each company or show has its own specific thing that they do. AEW's just happens to be tag team wrestling, and by God, they do it so well. We saw a lot of isolation and main focus on keeping Jungle Boy away from Luchasaurus, because he's literally a dinosaur. You don't want to face a dinosaur in the ring, especially one who's quick as hell, strong as hell, and has one of the best hot tags in the business. Of course, we end up seeing Luchasaurus' hot tag, which is literally just fire. Him and Nick Jackson's hot tags are just neck and neck. They're both the best. But at one point, there was Luchasaurus trying to go for a dive outside. He ends up in the crowd, therefore leaving Jungle Boy alone. Dax rolls him up in the corner. The ref can't see because Dax is covering, so Cash and Tully are holding Dax's hand so he can make sure to stay fully covered on Jungle Boy for the win. So not really surprising that FDR took some type of heel tactic to win. I personally wasn't surprised. I mean, if you follow their career in WWE, they do that a lot. But it was just fantastic tag team wrestling. I love that FTR is the traditional style of tag team, and they keep facing teams who are the complete opposite. Like they faced Private Party, and now Jurassic Express. It's so good. I could do a whole podcast about their tag team wrestling. AEW is not FTR. Gotta make sure I specify that. And basically, once that match ends, we go backstage because Matt Hardy, why is Matt Hardy even here? I'm pretty sure last week he said he was going to be taking some time off because he was injured, literally probably concussed during All Out. So Matt Hardy, why are you here, my guy? Why did you even show up? He's down and injured on the ground. Private Party are checking on him, and Jericho and Hager come over acting all shocked. They're like, oh no, Matt Hardy, what happened? But Jericho's holding Floyd, the baseball bat, in his hand, basically making it seem like Jericho and Hager took out Matt to mess with Private Party, because Hager, Jericho, and Private Party have a tag match later in the night. I would like to know what you guys think about that. Why do you think Matt Hardy is still peeping around? Do you think he should literally take time off because he was concussed at All Out and just everything about it? Let me know. Please, I highly suggest just blowing up the comments with questions and answers about this stuff. Because I want to see if my opinion is the same as other people's. So I take a sip of water. We move on to Frankie Kazarian taking on Hangman Adam Page. I didn't expect this match to be as good as it was. They're both seen as tag team wrestlers. Well, not really Hangman anymore. But his ex-tag team partner, Kenny, was on commentary, basically giving snide little comments the entire time. A lot of underhanded, I guess insults. Yeah, they were insults. Towards Hangman. Kenny was trying to say, oh, well, he looks a little gassed out. This is where he would come in for the tag and I would win the match. So then, Kenny, why don't you want to be a tag team anymore? Answer me that. Answer me that, sir. But the match was great, very hard-hitting. Like, they have a chop battle at one point, and you can just hear the chops echo throughout Daly's place, which I love. I love a good chop fest. It was a babyface versus babyface match. Now, some people don't like that. Some people want traditional, like, face versus heel. I personally liked it because you wanted to cheer for both men. You wanted both men to have good things. I mean, Frankie's one hell of a wrestler. He's been wrestling for like 20 years. Gets better with age. Hangman has only been wrestling for like less than 10, I think. I could 100% be wrong. I don't actually know. But he's still so good. And he's so young. So the fact that he's this good already, he's just going to keep getting better. And I can't wait for him and Kenny to finally clash because it's gotta happen. Hangman hits the buckshot lariat at the end of the match to win the match. Gets the 1, 2, 3. After he wins, Kenny leaves commentary and heads to the back. As Hangman's getting his hand raised, he turns around and looks for Kenny, and Kenny is nowhere to be seen. And it just breaks your heart because Hangman really wants to still be in this tag team with Kenny. And Kenny said, no, I'm good. I want to be a singles guy again. Give the people what they want. But we all really loved the tag team, or at least I did. Really loved the tag team of Hangman and Kenny. So it was very sad. I didn't like it. It looked like a depressed, sad Hangman who gets a beer thrown to him, very Stone Cold-esque, by, I found out later on Twitter, by Austin Gunn. Austin Gunn tweeted a bunch of things. He said that he was Sheeta's robe wearer. I don't know what to happen with my legs. That's fine. Sheeta's robe holder / wearer. He said something about a dancer, I think, in the crowd. And then the third one, he put beer thrower to Hangman, which was freaking awesome. Very Stone Cold-esque, I tell you. It was probably one of the coolest things ever. So he's drinking alone in the ring. Cut to a commercial. We come back to Kevin's favorite person, which I heard a lot about it last night. So don't worry. Don't worry, I heard all about MJF. MJF's taking on this basically no-name kid. I think his name was Sean Dean. They weren't really specific on his name. I think they mentioned it once. I put Sean Dean with a question mark, hoping that was the truth. If not, I apologize. But the match was so quick. MJF poked him in the eye. And then put the Salt of the Earth submission on him. The kid taps. Might be the quickest match in AEW history. I'm not sure. If you look it up and let me know in the comments, that'd be great. I would highly appreciate it. I asked the stream yesterday, but the stream was so frozen. I didn't get an answer. But if you look it up, just let me know, because the match, I think, in total was less than 30 seconds, maybe 15 most. And of course, it doesn't end there with MJF. No, 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 no. He has to cut a promo. That's what he's best at. And as much as I hate MJF, the kid gives one hell of a promo every time. That's his strong suit. He's pretty good in the ring, but he's a fantastic talker. And that's definitely why they keep giving this kid a microphone. I understand. I don't have to like it, but I understand. He cuts a promo saying how he's honest, dictator, dishonest John Mox is not, how Mox cheated it all out, even though MJF was literally also going to cheat. Kind of counterproductive. That's none of my business. He says he should be the AEW champ. He gets a "you're a loser" chant, which I personally loved. Kevin wasn't a fan, but I loved. That's all that matters. He said he is the undecided, undisputed, uncrowned world champion of AEW. And he makes Justin Roberts announce it with a little more gusto. Listen, MJF's a prick. We all know this. So the fact that he thinks he's the uncrowned AEW world champ shouldn't surprise a single soul. I'm just saying. And then he talks about how every week there seems to be a new faction of some sort, whether that be like a faction, a stable, a group. And he said, maybe this lone wolf needs a pack. I asked Kevin, I said, who do you think MJF will join? He said, if anything, he'll start his own. I don't even think MJF will actually end up joining a faction. If he joins one, it would probably be Inner Circle. Maybe because, the whole Jericho thing. I don't know. I don't think he's actually going to. Yeah, I don't think he's going to. Personal opinion. I don't think he's actually going to join a group, faction, stable, whatever you want to call it. But that literally leads right into the next segment, which Eddie Kingston and friends, is how they said it on commentary, are in the ring, and Eddie's like, alright, I have 3 points to make. 1, I never lost the Battle Royal. I really need to go back and watch and see if he actually didn't lose. Because this is the second week in a row he said it. It's got me thinking, so I really need to, I might do that this week. I have a little free time. I'm going to go back and watch the Battle Royal. See if he actually did go over the top rope. And see if he actually did lose. Because the more he says it, the more I'm intrigued, the more I need to know. So I will find out. And I'll end up tweeting about it. So follow me on Twitter at KatieWrestling13. And I'll tag the Smack Drop podcast in it, so you'll see it. Point number 2. He said, we are a family, not a faction, not a stable. Basically, coming at MJF's point before about how there's a new group, faction, stable every week. And he also, of course, went to Penta and was like, you are my best friend. As he did last week, which basically became a meme. One of my favorite memes ever. Just people clipping that part and just putting it all over Twitter. Saw it a lot on Instagram too. I was about it. It made me laugh. It made me smile. I think that's all that matters. And as he says, we are a family. He calls them all agents of chaos. And of course, as he says that, he has Butcher and Blade and Lucha Bros go into ringside, beat up 3 people in the ring, and then have them kick them out of the ring. Very, Lance Archer-esque. Except this was kind of not provoked. I mean, Lance is never provoked. So I don't know. It's very odd. And then his final point he makes directly to Blade. He said, Blade, time for you to get your house in order. Now, what I think that means is Allie, his wife, his kayfabe in real life wife, is chilling with QT Marshall in the Nightmare family. So I think this is going to lead to some type of feud between Eddie Kingston and friends and the Nightmare family, which I would 100% be okay with. If Allie ends up turning and joins, then we would get Allie versus Brandy. Nobody necessarily wants to see that match, but here we are. It would make the most sense. Or Brandy can just try her best to keep her Nightmare sister as a tag partner and keep her with the Nightmare family. I don't actually know what that means, but that's what Kingston has got to be talking about with that. It would make the most sense. So I don't know. Do you want to see Nightmare Family versus Eddie Kingston and Friends? Because they don't have a name. Eddie Kingston and Friends is probably the best faction name we'll have. I'm about it. Next, we go into Private Party taking on Jericho and Hager. Obviously, Private Party's pissed about earlier in the night because Jericho and Hager, they assume, it's very safe to assume, take out Matt Hardy. Which, again, why was Matt Hardy even there? I don't understand. But that's besides the point. We see a lot of isolation done by Hager and Jericho. At one point, Hager grabs, I believe it's Floyd, hits Cassidy in the back, and that becomes the main focus of Jericho and Hager is Cassidy's back. He ends up hitting the Judas effect on Cassidy, gets the 1-2-3. After they win, he decides, oh, I'm just going to put the walls of Jericho on Cassidy, hurt his back even more, and Cassidy's tapping. Like, he has it on for a solid 30 seconds, probably. And in comes Quinn. Beautiful, beautiful Pele kick to Jericho. Knocks him out of the ring, saving his tag partner. What I liked about this is Jericho's obviously the veteran in this match. And he took a lot of the near pinfalls. I liked that. It's him helping put over younger talent. And Private Party is one of the best tag teams. And that's saying something because their tag team division is stacked, like I said. I believe they're in the top 5. I don't actually know. Check out the rankings that AEW releases every week on Twitter. They do it on Instagram. Check out their rankings, and see if Private Party is even ranked. Because I don't actually know now that I think about it. And Jericho and Hager are also not ranked, I believe. I'm throwing out a lot of assumptions about the rankings. I don't actually know. I don't remember. And I don't feel like pulling it up. So just let me know. Tweet at me. Comment. I don't even care. Just let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. Please. The second to last match, not segment, match of the night, my second favorite match of the night in general, it was the NWA Women's Champ, Thunder Rosa, taking on Ivelisse for the title. First of all, this match, fucking beautiful. The kicks, deadly. Both women are fantastic. This is definitely AEW taking the proper approach, I guess, for their women's division. Because you have Ivelisse, who, her and Diamante won the Deadly Draw tag team tournament thing a few weeks ago. And they weren't mentioning it at all. But they come out wearing, excuse me, they come out wearing their medals that they win at the end, after they won the tournament. You're bringing in Thunder Rosa again, who had a banger of a match with Cheetah at All Out. So we get to see that. Diamante, of course, tries to get involved, help her tag partner a little bit throughout the match. To no avail because Thunder Rosa hits the freaking Tombstone Pile Driver on Ivelisse for the win. Thunder Rosa's a tiny girl. She might be my height. I'm 5'3". Ivelisse is at least 5'6". At least. So the fact that Thunder Rosa has enough power and, like, capability to do that, 10 out of 10. That match was great. Thunder Rosa picks up the win. Diamante, of course, comes into the ring and attacks Thunder Rosa because she just beat her tag partner. Shida jumps the barricade, I guess, because they kept focusing on her throughout the match as well, that Shida's watching ringside, obviously, because she just had a hell of a match at All Out with Rosa. It makes sense she's there. Shida comes in and saves Thunder Rosa from Diamante and Ivelisse. They roll out of the ring. Thunder Rosa comes in, and Shida, being the beautiful champion she is, picks up the NWA Championship, places it on Thunder Rosa's shoulder, and walks away. Respect. And that is why Shida is my champion. I love that woman. I want nothing but the best for her. Keep her babyface for the rest of the world, like, for the rest of the time being, because there's not a lot of babyfaces left. And she's a strong leader for the women's division in AEW. And I just love Hikaru Shida. How can you not? She's precious. Have you seen her Twitter? She's literally the cutest little human. I want to be friends with her. As should everyone. Then we go to a very short, odd segment of Kip Sabian and newly signed Miro talking about the best bachelor party ever, because Miro, of course, is the best man, not just for Kip Sabian's wedding, but in general. So, I talked about this yesterday. It's interesting that Miro's first segment and storyline in AEW is a wedding. Like, obviously taking a small jab probably at WWE because he was involved in 2 wedding storylines. Excuse me. Then Lance Archer comes to the ring after that segment's over, because it was literally 2 minutes. We didn't even need to see that segment of excuse me again. It's the morning. My voice is not fully there. We didn't really need the 2 minutes of Sabian and Miro talking, but it's fine. We move on to Lance Archer and Jake the Snake coming to the ring. This is what I mean when I say Lance Archer just picked some random guy from the crowd, beat him up real quick, and then went into the ring. That's what I'm saying. When Eddie Kingston and friends did the same thing. Very Lance Archer-esque of them. Basically, Jake the Snake is saying they need tag partners because next week it's going to be a 6-man tag. Lance Archer and his 2 tag team partners taking on Mox and 2 partners of his choosing. Mox's choosing, to be specific. So, I originally thought, when they said that, I was like, oh, MJF and Wardlow. It would make the most sense. Especially after MJF was literally complaining earlier in the night. I was wrong. Out comes Taz. Jake the Snake calls out Taz and says they made a deal. So Ricky Starks and Brian Cage will be teaming with Lance Archer. Excuse me again. We'll be teaming with Lance Archer for next week. And when, not if, when, these are Taz's words, when Archer, quote unquote, destroys Mox, Cage will get the first title shot. And then they basically say they don't give a shit about Eddie Kingston complaining how he didn't win. Blah, blah, blah. Them talking, hyping it up. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Jake the Snake now. He's very creepy. So every time he's in the ring, I don't listen to what he says because I just get creeper vibes. And I think that's very understandable. So you gotta excuse me if I don't remember everything he says. As if on cue, Mox comes out by the crowd, obviously because that's what Mox does. Before he can even say anything, it seems to be a fan attacks Mox again, or tries to attack him. No, it's Ricky Starks in a hoodie, and Brian Cage comes out. They start beating up Mox. They also beat up security at one point too, which is very rude. Like, security did nothing wrong. They're just trying to do their job, literally. And Big Will Hobbs, the newly signed AEW's newest talent, Will Hobbs, comes running up through the stands with a chair in his hand, scares off Starks and Cage, which I love because I don't like Cage or Starks. Will Hobbs, I'm about it. He put on one hell of a showing in the Casino Battle Royal, and they brought it up on commentary. I haven't really watched Dark. I need to now because this guy got it. And as Mox comes, stands back up, gets his footing. Jeez. He says that he basically puts over Will Hobbs, saying that he's going to be one of his partners for next week, which I didn't expect. But then he turns to the camera and he's like, Darby Allin, I'm talking to you. Get your ass to Jacksonville next week. We need you. Which as soon as they said the 6-man tag, I was like, oh, Darby's 100% going to be Mox's partner. I wasn't sure about the third, and I'm glad it's Will Hobbs, because that's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that match next week. And they give us a little preview of everything happening next week. So the 6-man tag match, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks taking on AEW champ Jon Moxley, Will Hobbs, and Darby Allin. Gonna be a hell of a match. It was just announced that the TNT Championship will be defended by Mr. Brody Lee, taking on freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I don't care how, I don't care when, but I want it to be soon. I need Orange Cassidy as champ. I need it. Just Orange Cassidy as a whole is just perfect. And he's a great comedy wrestler, but can turn it on. Just look at his matches with Jericho. Look at the Mimosa Mayhem match. Cassidy can work. So I really want to see this match. And I really want to see freaking Orange Cassidy win. Also for next week, we're going to see, AEW Women's Champ Hikaru Shida and NWA's champion, Women's Champ Thunder Rosa, taking on the tag team of Ivelisse and Diamante. Obviously based off the actions that happened after Thunder Rosa's match with Ivelisse. And then all they said was Jericho will appear. They didn't really specify. They kind of just said Jericho will appear, possibly with the baseball bat in his hand, possibly with a microphone. I guess we will have to see, because I'm very confused. Also, this is for Dynamite next week. I know there's a late night Dynamite happening Tuesday night. It's an hour long. I'm not sure if we will cover it. If we do, it might just be another solo show by me. I'm not sure. That'll be a conversation I have with Kyle later today. So, don't fret. If we don't talk about it Tuesday night, I'll probably just bring it up during the WWE AEW recap next Wednesday night. And we move on to the main event. One of the most brutal matches I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been watching wrestling for 20 years. I'm 24. I'm just going to specify this. I've been watching it for at least 20 years. It was the parking lot brawl. Best Friends taking on Santana and Ortiz. You could win by pinfall, submission, or surrender. But the refs couldn't stop the match. So I don't really understand the surrender part. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, it's a circle of cars. It reminded me of John Cena taking on Eddie Guerrero back in WWE. I can't even put into words how intense and awesome this match was. All 4 men were busted open in some way, shape, or form. Trent ends up going through a windshield, his back wrecked. Chucky T, is bleeding from his elbow. Santana's bleeding from the face. I think same with Ortiz. I know Ortiz was also bleeding from, his shoulder blades, elbow area. Such a good match. If you have time, go back and, if you're gonna watch Dynamite, go back and just watch this match. When I say it was so good, it was so good. I can't put into words how good it was, but it was freaking awesome. At one point, Chucky T is laying against the car, one of the cars, and Santana has a lead pipe in his hand and is basically gonna run and attempt murder again, common theme in AEW. Attempt to hit Chucky T in the face with this pipe. And Kevin brought it up to me that you can see Chucky T fiddling with keys. Excuse me. And I didn't notice it at first. I saw a clip this morning. Literally a half an hour ago. And you can see it in his hand. He's fiddling with the keys. Because the trunk opens and out pops Orange fucking Cassidy, who was in the trunk the entire match. Mind you, excuse me. Mind you, the match wasn't super long. But oh my god, he was in the trunk for at least 20 minutes. Just chilling. He probably took a nap, let's be real. But out pops Orange Cassidy. Steel chain wrapped around his fist hits the orange punch, which is a Superman punch, on Santana, knocks him out cold, giving Trent the opportunity to hit his finisher, which I think they call a crunchy. I don't remember what they called it. But he hits the finisher on Ortiz in the bed of a truck on top of a piece of plywood. It was plywood. Gets the 1, 2, 3. Best friends win. Rightfully so. They should have won this match. But a fantastic way to end the rivalry of Santana and Ortiz and best friends, which was one of the best rivalries in AEW, especially of recent memory. And it all happened on Dynamite. They never did anything. They never had a match on a pay-per-view. They had one altercation on Dark, but everything was Dynamite. So it was just fitting that their feud ended on Dynamite, in the main event, of course, in one of the most brutal matches of AEW's history. And as they're celebrating their win, Sue, Trent's mom, picks them up in the newly restored minivan. Orange Cassidy gets excuse me. Orange Cassidy gets shotgun. Trent and Chuck get in the back. Oh man, I'm sorry, my voice keeps going in and out. There we go. That should be a little better. And she starts driving away, but she stops, her window's down, and all you see is Sue's little finger giving the bird. And I was laughing so hard, I was crying. It was the best way to end Dynamite, just by Sue flipping off Santana or Ortiz, basically being like, fuck you guys. You're not gonna hurt my baby boy Trent and his best friend anymore. And even commentary couldn't hold it together. They were cracking up. It was just such a good way to end Dynamite. And Dynamite was pretty freaking awesome, if I do say so myself. But that was the Dynamite recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this was not a normal AEW recap. Technical issues on my side. I will take full responsibility. I was going to take some jabs at Kyle, but it's not the same. I did last night, but it's not the same now because I'm not streaming live. If you want an explanation about that, just tweet at either the Smack Drop Podcast or tweet at me, and I will explain. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciated my first solo video. We're out here making moves, guys. We're out here doing it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, morning, afternoon, night, whenever you decide to listen or watch this. Please, again, hit us up on Twitter at SmackRawPod. Check out our Patreon. Help support us. You can get me a new microphone because I need something at this point because my technology hates me. But in all seriousness, thank you guys for watching and listening. I greatly appreciate it. And I will catch you next week for sure with Kevin for the AEW recap. See you guys.